California, and he brought the world's coolest hair with him today. Brent, what's up, my friend?
I'm doing awesome. How you doing, Ken?
I'm doing good, man. Hey, take a minute, Brent, and tell our audience a little bit about who you are and what you've got going on, my friend.
Sure, man. I've been in real estate for almost 25 years. I spent 12 years at RE/MAX, 8 years at Keller Williams, and now about 4 years at my new brokerage. Super excited about what's going on.
Hey, tell us a little bit about, at Grow Stack Drive, we like to talk about mindset, strategy, leadership development, multiplication through leadership development. Those 20 years you spent obviously before you came to EXP, and we'll talk about EXP in just a minute. Talk to us about some of the successes that you saw and some of the
Sure.
and some of the accolades and stuff you were honored to be able to receive in those 20 years.
Oh, yeah. So it's kind of funny. I got in real estate in 1996, I think. Yeah, around 96. And just loved it instantly. Didn't kill it. Sold a few homes. I think the second year I sold 18 homes. I mean, that was no rookie of the year. But, you're doing okay in California, 18 homes. So my third year, 28. My fourth year, though, I sold 48 homes. My fourth year, and I made $393,000. I thought I had won the lottery. I'm like, this is a license to print money. First time in my life, I could work harder and get paid really well. And I love my clients, but I'm in business to make a profit for my family. It always cracks me up. People they let their business run their life, and their family gets the leftovers. And so anyways, then I went to Craig Proctor in 1999, learned how to leverage through a database, through marketing and building a team, hiring staff. So I started that process, built my team in 1999, started my first team meetings. I've been running them for over 20 years. I do them every Thursday morning, 10 to 11. And I built my team up. By 2005, I had 45 buyer's agents. We did a lot of buyer side transactions. 2009 or 8, I learned to become a listing agent. But anyways, no REOs. But it was awesome, man. Went on to become the top RE/MAX agent in California, and had a wonderful experience. Then I went to Keller Williams in 2009, learned about, holding your dollars accountable, about culture, which I naturally am super positive and loving kind of person, golden retriever. So I've never had a big issue with culture, but I never was purposeful or intentional about culture. It happened on accident because I'm like, wherever I am, I like to make it a party. So on my team at RE/MAX, I bring 120 people to Scottsdale to go golfing and swimming and hang out at the JW Marriott Desert Ridge. And before RESPA was all crazy, we had like title companies getting huge limo buses, 60 people a bus, and we go out to dinner and golfing and go hot air. I mean, I made it. So I created the culture on accident because I'm wired for culture. But I've learned more. And then Keller Williams was a wonderful experience. Had a big, huge office. We built up to 500 agents. So loved it. And then, like you said, 3 years, 9 months ago, I transitioned to eXp Realty, and best business decision I ever made in my life, by far, life-changing, earth-shattering move.
I love it. Hey, let's talk, Brent, about those first few years in the business as you're kind of really developing mindset and strategy and getting going and building and really learning about what you could do as a business owner, because in real estate, you are a business owner. Talk to me about some of the lessons you learned. I know you said that fourth year you made $393,000 and you thought you had won the lottery. Talk to me about some of the obstacles and some of the things you learned about yourself in those first few years.
Well, I remember doing open houses and nobody coming and getting on my knees and praying to God. One time I was so desperate, this suburb called Antelope, California, of Sacramento, California. I'm like, this is kind of an OKB neighborhood, and they built a patio, then they enclosed it. That became where the cats would hang out. So there was cat fur everywhere. And I am laying on the ground, hands out, begging God to send someone through the front door because I got to get a deal in escrow so I can buy groceries, pay the rent, make my car payment. At that time, we didn't own a house. I'd gone bankrupt at 29. So we were renting a house. I'm like, I got to pay the rent. I need gas money cars. I'm the sole provider. I remember, so I've been there when you're like, begging God, please God, help me. And all of a sudden, ding dong, the door rings. I'm not saying that'll happen, but it happened for me. And I jumped up and I take all the cat hair and shook it off my chest. That was probably year year, 18 months into my real estate career, but I've been there when you need a deal. And so, a struggle. It was, I would try anything and everything and try this, try that, try this, try that. Do you sell trailer parks? I'm like, well, sure. Do you sell land? Yeah. Do you sell 4 hours away? What are you buying? $1 million ranch? Yeah, I sell 4 hours away. And you just kind of, there's no thought. You're just like trying to sell real estate. Do you do duplexes? Do you do commercial? Yeah, sure. What kind of commercial do you want to make? No, do you sell commercial? And you're new and you're just trying to figure it out. So I think my aha moment came when I copied a very boutique brokerage in Sacramento, California called John Brooks Realty. I'm sure nobody's heard of it today. They've gone out of business. But at the time in 1997, they were kicking everyone's butt in Sacramento. I mean, a little no-name brokerage. No one knew who they were. They were beating RE/MAX, Coldwell Banker, and Century 21. And back in 1997, back in the Stone Ages, those were the big powerhouse. Keller Williams didn't exist in Sacramento, California. Mm-hmm. And they were whipping everyone's butt. So that got my attention. I'm like, who is John Brooks Realty? And I discovered their secret in 1998. And I started copying them. And I went from 14 sales a year to 28 to 48. Boom, boom, boom. Just by copying a model. And then all of a sudden I'm rich. I got, I bought a home. I have a brand new Chevy Tahoe loaded. And those were the hot cars back in the day. The Chevy Tahoe was fully loaded, all leather. And, I'm not driving my beat up old yucky car that I bought from my neighbor from $5,000, and because we had gone bankrupt, I had no money, and we got new furniture for the house. We're going to Maui in the Caribbean and life's good. But I was working 60 hours a week, 40, 50, easily 60 hours a week, coaching soccer, coaching Little League, full life, very busy, 5 children. And at the time, now we have 7, we adopted a couple. And, but basically I went to Craig Proctor in 1999 in Toronto, Canada. I flew all the way there on a whim. Literally the night before I'm doing an open house showing property, my buddy calls me at 3 a.m. He calls me at 9 at night. At 3 a.m. I got up and went to the airport and flew to Toronto for 5 days. I'm talking, it was a whim. At 8 o'clock, I'm just going to do open houses and show property all weekend. At 3 a.m., I'm up and I flew to Toronto for 5 days. And he was the #1 RE/MAX agent in the world. And he said, come to Toronto. I will teach you what I do. And I went and I'm sitting next to a guy. There's 800 of us in the ballroom. The other guy's like, this is so full of crap. He just wants to, sorry, my language. He just wants our money, wants us to get into coaching. I'm like, I don't know. It's all making sense to me. And he's sitting there with his arms up crossed, his legs crossed, his eyes crossed, his brain was crossed. And he just had his filter was up. He couldn't hear what was being said. I go, you know what? I don't know for sure, but it sounds logical. I'm going to take a shot. And so I copied Craig Proctor. 5 years later, I sold over 400 homes. Instead of 48 homes, I sold over 400. Again, I copied a model. I've never created anything. When I got to EXP, I copied the model. When I went to Keller Williams, I copied Gary Keller's book, The Millionaire Real. I copied the model. That's my message to you. Find successful people, copy the model.
Let me ask you a question real quick, because Brent, yes, proximity is power. Your network is your net worth. I was looking for that word. Your network is your net worth. But what would you say were 1 or 2 things for you in those first few years? Because there's a lot of entrepreneurs and people who are listening today who are, I got to get a deal done so I can pay rent this month. They're not where you and I might be. What were some of the 1 or 2 things that you can remember? What made you keep getting up every day and going to open houses? What was the thing in you that kept you going to be able to get to $393,000 in your 4th year?
Milk. In other words, I was fighting to put groceries on the dang table. I was not going to fail. I will figure this out. I'm going over, under, around, through. Who can I talk to? What can I do? And failure, man. I failed and fought until, because you got to realize you're a warrior. Oh, that's some trick. No, you better realize, until you realize you're a warrior and you're going to fight for your family's future, not for millions of dollars. I mean, I hope you're not that shallow that you're just fighting a battle for a yacht or your own private island in the Caribbean, or a Rolex watch, or a Ferrari. Those are great things. And I have goals. I have a beautiful cabin I want at Tahoe too. I'm not saying those are bad things, but at a core value, what are you doing for your family, man? And so I go, oh, I'm not going to fail. I will do whatever it takes. I am so willing to risk my ego, to get mud on my face, to face plant in the mud. And because I've been so willing to try things and I failed it so much, I found what worked, and then I started doing what worked. And now I'm on stages everywhere telling people my story, because I'm not the most successful person in the room, although usually I am. But it's because I'm the biggest failure in the room. I've taken more chances, had more egg on my face, belly flopped, face planted in a mud puddle, but not with money, but with ego. And once you get through that, oh baby, the sky's the limit. You are free like an eagle, and you can go do awesome things. Most people would rather write a check and risk their cash. I'm all about risking your ego. Yes, leverage, market, invest money, capital. I get that. But most people, because once you get free and you go there, you can't come back. And then, like you said, proximity is power. Your network equals your net worth. Have goals. Oh, I've got goals. Really? Okay. What is your goal for your network, for the proximity is power thing? Like, who do you really want to be around? I have goals to be around Tony Robbins and John Maxwell and Elon Musk and Richard Branson, and I will be a part of their lives. I am joining Platinum group. It's 100,000 to attend and 100,000 to fly. You'd be, well, I can't afford that. I go, I didn't say I'm a member now. I'm joining this year in January. Right now, COVID's locked down and we're not traveling, but I'm going to do that. And then by doing that, I get access to the Simon Sinek's and the different people of the world. And so I have goals to up my network. And so it's pretty cool, man. And so I've been doing this stuff. I remember when I used to fly, I thought Southwest was the greatest thing in the world. I'm cheap. Just give me a $39 flight. I love it. And I was there. It was great. Now, not to be snooty, but I get to fly first class everywhere I want because I upped my network. I upped the people I'm hanging with. Like flying to Toronto in 99 and getting around Craig Proctor made me think differently. Thinking differently brought me from, how do you sell more than 48 homes a year? How in the world could anybody do that, to selling over 400? And then all of a sudden making millions of dollars a year. And now I'm looking at joining NetJets and getting a service where I can go where I want, when I want. And it's not a big deal to spend the money, because I need to get places and be on my schedule. And it's pretty cool. So.
Hey, let me ask you a question. You said this a minute ago, and we've all been around these kind of people. You said when you went to the Craig Proctor event in Toronto, you sat next to a guy with his arms folded. He said, he just wants my money. He just wants this. What makes people open to coaching, or what makes people not open to coaching?
Wow, really good. 80% of your success in life is your psychology. How many have children out there? I have a teenage son, daughter, maybe a fifth grader, and they go, Dad, I can't. Dad, nobody likes me, especially daughters. They get picked on. The girls can be pretty hard on each other. And he goes, sweetheart, you're beautiful. You're amazing. Your acne will go away. You have the right man out there for it. It's going to marry. You can have a beautiful life. And you speak life into them. But sometimes they have friends that speak other things. Then they start believing the lie. I'm ugly. I'm fat. I'm not worthy. And the truth is, you're all worthy. You're all freaking amazing. Come from love. Be big. Lift the room. Lift people. Don't walk into the room and make it dark and then tear people down. Lift people up. Lift the room up you walk into. And so it's 80% psychology. The chokehold of my business is me, my psychology. What's going on upstairs? Same with you, Ken. Same to people listening. Is this a podcast? Is that what we're doing?
Yes, it is. Yes, sir.
So it's not video.
Oh yeah, no, it's video. It'll be on iTunes, Spotify, and it's live on YouTube and Facebook.
I wasn't sure. So here's the deal, though. It's 80% is your psychology. It's and when you drop from your head to your heart, and you're being authentic and you're being real. And I'm exaggerating a few things to try to get you to get it, but you are exactly where you deserve to be in your life due to this. So what are you doing for this? Right. What podcast? I'm preaching to the choir. You're listening to Ken's podcast. But are you listening to Simon Sinek? Are you doing TED Talks? Are you going to a Tony Robbins event or a John Maxwell event or who's the 10X guy? Grant Cardone. I just went to Grant Cardone to check him out February. Awesome stuff. It's a little bits and pieces. It's a little bits and pieces that create the fabric of your life. and will make you who you are in 10 years. And it's a struggle that you'll appreciate. You just don't appreciate it now, but you'll appreciate it down the road.
80% of success is psychology. One of the things I talk with my clients all the time, my one-on-one coaching clients, and then my group coaching, is there are two types of people. There are thermostats and there are thermometers. Thermometers walk in a room. All they do is gauge the temperature. Thermostats are my guy, Brent Gove right here, walks in a room and instantly the atmosphere and the temperature changes of the room. Brent, talk about, so what, because obviously you and I, but the first time I met you in Napa, we had breakfast. I walked in the room and I knew immediately, I'm like, dude, this guy right here is a brother from another mother. I don't know this cat, but I can just tell we have the same type of spirit. What would you say to somebody who's not a high D or a high I, who's not a type A individual? Man, what can they do, Brent?
Well, it's 80% psychology. It has nothing to do whether you're a high D, high I, high S, I C. 80% of your success is what's thinking up here. Look at your kids. Like, that's them, but now we're adults. Oh, even more so now, man. Even more so. So I just want to tell you, it doesn't matter who you are. People succeed at high levels all through life. So get around people who lift you up. Get around people that are positive. You know, who are the people you like in your life? Well, I like so-and-so. Why? Well, they smile at me. They're friendly. They address me. Ken, how are you? And like, hey, what's up? You know, and I like that. Well, be that person. Be like, well, that's hard for me. Dad, it's hard for me to introduce. I go, son, walk up to people, look them straight in the eye, go, hey, I'm Ty Gove. Give them a firm handshake. Don't crush their hand. You know, someone went up to Warren Buffett, Tony Robbins did, and he said, what's the best investment you ever made in your career? And he's ready for some hedge fund. Says, and he goes, I think when I was 18 years old, I bought a Dale Carnegie course. Best investment I ever made in my life, because that's what led to everything else. It got me on the path. And that book's been printed, I don't know, 35 million times. I think 50,000 is a bestseller. You did time, you know, it's crazy how, and some of you haven't read the book by Dale Carnegie called How to Influence and Influence People. Start feeding this, the rest will work itself out, and you'll become a champion of winter. Because we're coming into winter. This COVID stuff, there's stuff's going to happen. If you're struggling now, baby, live for winter, thrive in the winter. When spring and summer hits, it's off.
Come on. Hey, real quick. I know you've got a hard stop in 10 minutes. Talk to me a little bit about, so there'll be agents naturally that are real estate agents, people that are in investment, commercial, residential. We don't want to shoot a commercial. We're talking about commercial real estate, like you said just a minute ago. Talk to me about EXP. Obviously, I'm part of your team. We joined about a month ago. I was actually going through the process in Georgia and Alabama to get my broker's license. I was a mortgage broker in Georgia, Alabama, Florida for about 6 years back in the mid 2000s when you could print money in the basement, and was looking forward to that. Got connected with you and literally did a 180 on where I was going, and tell everybody why.
Well, I mean, you know, I changed brokerages one time in 20 years. I don't chase shiny pennies. I look at everything. Sure, what do you got? I give you 5 minutes. Boom, 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 boom. They call me about EXP. Sheila Fair's-Ron out of Dallas, Texas. She goes, hey, I met you 2 years ago for 30 seconds at a Haas Pratt seminar in Plano, Texas, in the lobby after you spoke. Do you remember me? I'm like, I met like 100 people in the lobby after I spoke that day. I'm sorry, I don't. She goes, it's okay, but I'm dying to know. I respect you. What do you know about EXP? I go, not too much. She says, would you look at it and give me your opinion? That's all she said. So the rest of you watching this, would you stop listening to your manager at your company or the owner of your franchise or whoever and just look at it? We're going to have 100,000 agents, I would say, within the next 12 to 18 months. We are on fire. We had 1,300 3.5 years ago. Now we have 33,000. We're just booming. The stock went from $3.90 to share. It went, honey, my wife just walked in. Hi. Thank you. Bye, baby. Bye. So basically, thank you. She brought me to the office here. I'm at my office in Northern California. So anyways, but so I watched it. I always look at it I try to look at it with an open mind, and I knew I would not be interested. I got to admit, I'm thinking there's no way I'm interested in this, but she's sweet. She said that she was impressed with me as a speaker and that she respected me and she wanted my opinion. So, okay, I'll give you my opinion. It probably won't be great, but I'm like, hey, good for you, do XP. I watched it. I remember standing up, leaning over my computer like this, going, I cannot believe I'm going to say this, but I am really, really interested. How do I know more? I think, will you jump at it? I've not moved brokerages one time in 20 years, you guys. So I'm a pretty stable guy. That's my wife, 29 years. Same mortgage person, 14 years, same escrow officer, 12. I'm solid. It is incredible. So if you want to know more about it, go here, themodelexplained.com, call Ken. Reach out to Ken or a good friend. If a good friend's talking to you about it, call your good friend. But it's incredible, life-changing. The stock has grown 10 times when people I respected and loved at my old brokerage told me it would be worthless in 2 years. Since then, it's gone 10 times. I have agents that have become millionaires just through the stock. So it's pretty cool. But
we're at 37 a share. Is that right?
Yeah. 37 a share, and it was $2.90 when I got in.
It was $14 when you and I sat at Napa 2 months ago and had breakfast.
Grace's Kitchen. By the grace of God,
That's exactly what it was.
My brother from another brother, my brother in Christ, and we sat there and we connected. And then now you're at EXP. And Ken's a sharp guy. There's too many sharp people coming. Beverly Hills, Chuck Keller, Pete Middleton, or in San Diego, La Jolla, Coldwell Banker agent, sells the $20-30 million. Everybody's coming. It's pretty amazing. And it is going to, it's like Netflix. Oh, Netflix. I remember I poo-pooed Netflix. Well, I'm not poo-pooing them now. YouTube, that sounds like boob tube. YouTube, I don't know.
Right,
YouTube, awesome. I love YouTube. I love Netflix. Airbnb. I would never do that. Now I just rented a 5,500 square foot luxury cabin, multi-million-dollar cabin on the ridge. Airbnb'd it, love it. But again, I'm guilty of being like, I'm not going to do Airbnb, Uber. I'm not getting somebody's car. Who's this person? But we go get a taxi with the same stranger, And so let me tell you, EXP is like Amazon. People said Amazon, they'll never make it. Really, largest corporation in the world. They're doing unbelievable things. So that is what EXP is. And
give me 2 minutes. Give me a 2-minute pitch to any agent who might be watching or listening to our podcast today on why they should consider EXP.
All right. Well, for 20 years, I was at RE/MAX and Keller Williams. Loved both companies. Had a wonderful experience. I didn't leave because I was jaded or upset or anything. But all I got were plaques and trophies and recognition for 20 years. But it's like the Jerry Maguire movie. Show me the money, Jerry. While my 12 years at RE/MAX, Dave Liniger became a billionaire. My 8 years at Keller Williams, Gary Keller became a billionaire. How about your company? Is it owned Berkshire Hathaway? That's owned by Warren Buffett. He's a billionaire. Coldwell Banker, owned by Realogy. Realogy, a big hedge fund, billion-dollar hedge fund. Quit working for billionaires. So by selling real estate, you get stock. By capping at our company, we have a $16,000. It's all you pay our company. It's it. Start to a guy who's paying $100,000 a year to Coldwell Banker right now in Colorado. $100,000. Drop to 16, save 84,000, put it in your marketing budget. Let's rock and roll. But he sells enough to qualify for a $16,000 stock award. So it has to wait 3 years to vest. Mine just vested, and because the stock went boom, 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 it's worth over $100,000. So what'd you pay your broker 3 years ago? What's it worth? You're not going to get it back. I get mine back plus $84,000. So there's the ownership piece. There's the leads. A friend of mine works for Coldwell Banker in San Jose, California, south of San Francisco. He's struggling because you can't do open houses because of COVID-19. And by the way, I turned on our lead generating system for him, pointed at him. It's my KV core through EXP. I decided to point it towards him. In 7 days, he got 21 leads. Last Monday, he had 3 appointments, one at 3, one at 5, one at 7. He called me. This is a 58-year-old man in tears. He goes, "You have changed because we were so depressed. So we were running out of money." So there's lead gen, there's education, 50 hours a week of live training by people like Ken, myself, Sean Kokoska, president of MAPS Coaches. He's now at EXP. Stars from all over the country. The best trainers in the world are in there. This is the future. Check it out. We're opening 6 countries this year. Mexico. We might go into Brazil. We're definitely going into India, France, Portugal, South Africa. We're going to add another 40 countries in the next 5 years. And it's a global. You're not thinking about Colombia. I am. You're not thinking about Mexico City. I am. I'm not flying there, going there, but my business is going there and I'm going to get paid on home sales there. They go, "Well, we don't do that sort of thing at our company." Really? When someone says, "How do you like Century 21?" You go, "I love it." And then somebody joins Century 21 and sells 30, 40, 50 homes a year. What do you get compensated? Nothing. Oh my gosh. Quit looking so hard for buyers and sellers. I mean, do it, sell a bunch of real estate. But if you just refer a few people to I sent 100 people to RE/MAX in 12 years. I got 3 $10 Starbucks cards.
$30, man.
I sent 55 people to Keller Williams in 8 years, and I was making $700 a month profit sharing. Last month, if I told you what I got in my bank account last Friday, I'll go ahead and do it. $535,000. And that'll happen
in 1 month.
That'll happen next month. But in 30 years, I get over $1 million. Well, that's just you, your spot. There's your psychology. There's your psychology. Because we're going to have 1 million agents. There's 968,000 coming, or 67,000 coming. We're going to be the first company because our agents are owners. They have a seat at this table of ownership. I'm telling you, you sound fanatical and crazy. Heck yes, so is Jeff Bezos with Amazon. So is the owner of Netflix. So yeah, and I'm not even the owner, but that's how fired up we are. Are you fired up about your brokerage? No, because your brokerage doesn't compensate you because they can't, because they're not cloud-based. They have all this overhead. They cannot do what EXP can do. Watch themodelexplain.com and call your good friend who's been talking to you. If no one's been talking to you, I want you to call Ken Jocelyn and say, okay, Ken, tell me more. I'm going to try to keep an open mind and really listen. And if you watch that and you focus, I don't know, it's about 30 minutes. It lays out everything we have. Our retirement program, which is like a 401k, not a 401k, but like 40 times better. Healthcare. We actually have healthcare. We're the first company to provide healthcare. Maybe you need that. Massive discount. And so call Ken. Is that what you wanted, Ken?
That's perfect, man. Hey, I would drop my mic, but it cost me $300. Hey, Brent Gove. Hey, my friend, I know you got a hard stop. You got to be on a national training call in 1 minute. Hey, man, thank you so much for being a part of our Grow Stack Drive podcast. We're going to get you on our virtual summit this month and get you teaching some more about mindset and everything that you've done. I appreciate you. I'm grateful for your friendship. And grateful for your leadership, and look forward to building EXP together. And I look forward to the day where I can show you my iPhone and it says my deposit's $500,000 a month, my friend.
There you go, baby. It's awesome. So take care. God bless. Nice to meet everybody here. I look forward to getting to meet you someday. Bye-bye.
Hey, guys, thanks for joining us on our Grow Stack Drive podcast. I'm your host, Ken Johnson. We will see you tomorrow at noon Eastern time. Thanks, guys. Have a good one, buddy.